Hello, okay, welcome back to the channel. We're doing Q&As again today because I have not had time to put together an episode on a particular topic lately. Things have just been really crazy coming up in September. We have retreat in Sedona, which by the way, if you want to come to the Joshua Tree, California retreat in March, recommend you get on top of that. We have the Holistic HA Practitioner Certification also opening up in September. It's just crazy out there. I'm going to a pickleball tournament tomorrow, and just more things, lots of stuff going on. So just collecting your guys' Q&A questions and answering them on YouTube is just like the best, easiest thing that we could possibly do. And so if you have questions that you would like answered on this show, please comment on YouTube, send me a DM on Instagram at the HA Society, or you can email me, Danny at thehasociety.com. Okay, so I have one, maybe two DMs here, and then let's see. Where did it go? This question is from, I think it's Solis or Solis. I bet you. She's a beautiful European. Oh, my name is Solis. Okay, there it is. European name, and I'm just like butchering it. But here we go. Hi, my name is Solis. I feel alone and I need help. I believe I suffer from HA and I don't know what my next steps are. In 2020, I weighed 75 kilos. I hated my body and was never happy at all. I decided I wanted to lose weight, and so when COVID came, it was easy for me to use this time to train. Super common. But I didn't like how long it was taking. Even though I was shredding off the weight fast, by the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, I weighed 53 kilos. So we're gonna pause there. For any of you who are using pounds, 75 kilos, 2 pounds is 165 pounds. And within a year, potentially less, she went down to 116 pounds. So that's a really big drop in a short period of time. Okay, back to the email. I stopped eating and just only ate to suffice my hunger around people. 2021 to 2022, I lost my period for 8 months, where it finally returned in February, or 2023. I was getting them every 45th day and only lasted until June. I'm now without a period. I've been training now for 1 year, 5 days a week, and I walk every day for an hour. I train 1 HIIT session and 4 strength training sessions. I feel I don't push myself, but I don't know anymore. I do these workouts every morning at 4:30, and I don't eat my first meal till 8 a.m. So, Solis, I wish you were my client, because this would be, in theory, this would be so easy, right? You know what's going on here. This is big weight reduction. You know why. You know what this was a problem. All that stuff, and that's okay. Hold, please. Okay, I'm back. I had a mix-up with a client that I was scheduled to meet with, and then things happened. And anyway, I saw a message from her, and so I had to get a sidebar. But okay, so I don't remember what I was saying, but I feel like you would be, in theory, a simple client, because it's really clear what's going on here, in that you lost your period because you lost way too much weight by training way too much and eating not enough. It's really black and white. The question here I'm seeing though is, here's what I'm doing. I've been training for a whole year at 5 days a week, with a walk every day for an hour. I train 1 HIIT session and 4 strength sessions. I don't feel I push myself, but I don't know. And these workouts are at 4:30 a.m. and I don't eat my first meal until 8. So all of that is a problem. You're gonna need to back way down. You didn't have a period. So this training isn't helping you. This is obviously not enough, and I don't know what you weigh right now, and if you're still 53 kilos, I bet you're gonna have to gain some weight back, and you're gonna probably have to stop training at that level, and you're going to probably have to completely stop. I think you've really lost a lot of weight, so it wouldn't surprise me if you have to completely stop. And then even the 1 hour walking probably need to be bumped down to like 20 minutes. And definitely 4:30 a.m. doing these things is like 50% of the problem. Maybe it's all 50%, even though that doesn't mathematically work, right? 4:30 a.m., no breakfast till 8, working out 5 days a week, one of them being HIIT training, putting an hour walk on top of that, and you've done that for an entire year. It's just too much. So that's probably the problem, Solis, and I hope that this was essentially the outside person looking in telling you what you probably need to hear is true. That is what is true. Okay. Now I have one other email that I was going to do today from Sophie. So Sophie says, hello, I just wanted to reach out and get your advice, if I may, since you have helped a lot of people recover, and thus might be able to give me assurance that I'm on the right track. A bit of background. I lost my period about a year ago and was underweight due to the restricted eating and over-exercising. At my lowest, I had lost 25% of my pre-HA body weight. But now, 2.5 months into recovery, I have regained all of the weight I lost. I'm not exercising at all anymore, and I am eating at least 2,500 calories per day, some days closer to 3,000 or 4,000. I am currently experiencing a very strong desire to eat lots of food all the time, even to the point that I am uncomfortably stuffed, and I am afraid I am becoming a binge eater. Before I developed HA/anorexia, I would boredom eat, in quotations, or eat because I was comforting, because it was comforting, though at the same time I didn't think much about it. Food didn't take up all my mental space like it does now. What would you recommend I do? Yeah. So you said in the very end there, right? Back in the day, before any of this was an issue for me, I did not think about and focus on food. And that was my experience too. And when I was in my HA era, I remember thinking, how did I used to eat? Because I know I didn't used to obsess about this. How did I used to get through the day? I know I used to be able to have dinner and not have dessert, right? Back in the day, whatever. If someone offered it, I'd be like, ooh, yes, of course. But I wasn't going to have a nervous breakdown if I didn't get to fit in my perfectly designed macro-friendly weird dessert meal. So I was like, who even was I? What was that like? Now I'm back at that phase where I can, for the most part, take or leave any food altogether. And I can sort of objectively say, I'm not eating that donut, not because I don't want it, not because I want it, but I feel like I have to restrict it, but because it just really doesn't sound good to me. It sounds too sweet, it sounds too heavy. Whereas other times, something really, really sweet sounds good. So back into that ebb and flow, listening to the body and actually experiencing genuine food desires and cravings. But where you're at is still in starvation mode. So if it says that you were underweight, you restricted and you overate, and you lost 25% of your body weight, and you're now only 2.5 months into recovery, having regained all of the weight that you lost already, and eating a lot, you're early on in recovery, and it takes more than 2.5 months of allowing yourself sometimes to eat enough food for that starvation response to go away. And I actually would say that for many people, it can take a year. This is just what we see in practice. This is what happened for me. So it's scary to feel yourself start going past the boundary in which you felt like you weren't ever going to be able to go, and definitely to go surpass the amount of weight you originally set out to lose feels very uncomfortable, like 100%. This is so uncomfortable. But unfortunately, you have to pay back interest to your body sometimes when you take so much for free without giving it anything, without going slow. So it's asking a lot of you, and it can be more nuanced, right? So like if you are eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories sometimes in food that is safe to you and you're comfortable with, and there's still a lot of off limits foods, that's still going to create the mental restriction in your head that is, commonly causing an issue. And honestly, everybody's situation and mental safety is different. And so I keep looking back over to the email to see if there are any other little details I want to address here. That boredom eating and things like that, it's your brain's looking to hear it's safe. It was once starved, and it's a survival mechanism. And the sooner you allow yourself to lean into that, right, the sooner that will go away. But it's very common to try to walk the line and basically tiptoe between, I'm eating in excess and I'm eating all these fear foods that I used to have. I'm eating the full fat and the olive oil and the things I used to hyper control, but I'm not ready to give in to these other cravings. And the fact that these cravings are so strong is scaring me. That is still restriction. And I know it's hard because Doritos are bad. Doritos are objectively not a health food, right? But you were so energy deprived for so long. They're so hyper palatable. You're hungry, and most likely you're suffering from really severe mineral and nutrient deficits. So one other option I have for you, and I actually answered this question a lot, but I don't give this answer a lot. But it's something I'm playing more with lately, and so is Ashley and Mishi in our practice. But you could get an HTMA test, right, a hair tissue mineral analysis, and get to the bottom of your specific deficiencies that could be causing a hyperdrive towards other certain foods, because you haven't mentioned what foods you are actually binging or craving, right? So I used to crave and essentially binge on red meat. Ever since I was a kid, a pubescent kid, I have needed red meat. It's been a really strong thing. I remember the day it happened, the day I cared about meat. And that's something that I would binge on when I was going through HA, because I only ever ate lean protein. So it kind of depends on that, but it really can be a sign of specific mineral deficiencies. So I do recommend that you try that test. That test is something we order for clients in practice. It's actually a pretty inexpensive test. It can go anywhere from 70 to $100 depending on who's ordering it for you. We have started ordering it for clients who are sort of problem clients, who have, it's oh, you are weight restored and this and that's going on, and we're still not quite getting across the line, where we can usually still get a result by trying lots of different things. But we mostly doing the test actually allows for you to get really specific details, really specific mineral deficiencies that you need to fill using supplementation. And that's kind of important. So that's a type of lab test. It's a sample of your hair. So that's something we can do for you. There's lots of practitioners out there that can do stuff like that. So that would be a little recommendation for people who feel like the amount of cravings they're having is abnormal for where they're at. Cool. I hope that this was helpful. episode for you guys. If you have a question that you want answered, please submit it. If this was helpful for you, please like and subscribe to this channel. And I hope you guys have a really great weekend, rest of your week. See you next time.